And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel guys, hope you're all well. Before we do get into today's video, as always, please do smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. Liverpool through to the next round of the FA Cup after beating Norwich 5-2 yesterday. The quadruple dream very much alive for Liverpool at this moment in time. Yes, Norwich, it was never really in doubt in terms of the actual the victory and predictions from the game itself. You know, Liverpool were heavy favourites going up against a mid-table championship side, especially at Anfield, and the atmosphere was very, very good, obviously at the start, and was predicted to be so due to the news that sort of followed, or the news that came out this week that Jurgen Klopp would be stepping down as the Liverpool manager. In today's video, guys, we have got quite a few bits and pieces to discuss. We're obviously going to go through why Liverpool have been handed a massive boost in the pursuit of the quadruple. We're also going to touch upon yesterday's game and what's next for us in the FA Cup, whilst of course going over a bit of transfer news as David Ornstein has came out and spoke about a potential signing with a caveat, may I add. But let's start with the game yesterday. As I stated, Liverpool through to the next round of the FA Cup, which was an emotional day at Anfield, but the job was done. Liverpool winning the game by 5-2. Jones, of course, opened the scoring fairly early on the 16th minute before Norwich actually got an equaliser through Gibson. Núñez, though, took the lead just 6 minutes after. Then Jota scored. Then Van Dijk scored. Put the game really out of doubt before Norwich got a consolation goal. And then Gravenberch rounded things off in stoppage time. Now, following this, of course, Liverpool progressing to the next round of the competition. They will, of course, face either Blackburn or Watford in the next round of the competition. Sorry, Watford or Southampton in the next round of the competition. And then again, potentially a decent draw as well, actually, being another Anfield occasion and going up against the so-called lesser side from the second tier. So a very, very good route towards the sort of Wembley places once more. And again, Liverpool is very much in the picture for a quadruple. And things could get even better for Liverpool as Mohamed Salah is now expected to resume club duties upon his return from injury, with Egypt knocked out of the African Cup of Nations. Yet Salah returned to Merseyside earlier this week to undergo specialist treatment on a hamstring injury that proved controversial in his native Egypt, with high-profile ex-players among those to suggest he had opted club over country. But the plan was agreed between Liverpool and the Egyptian FA. Salah would focus on his rehabilitation at the AXA training centre to give him the best opportunity to return before the AFCON concluded. It is now a moot point, though, with Egypt suffering a penalty shootout defeat to the Congo in the last 16. The two sides were held at a 1-1 after extra time, with Egypt going down to 10 men as the tie went to spot kicks, which the Congo eventually won 8-7 after goalkeeper Gamatsky saw his penalty hit the bar and go over. Egypt are therefore out of the tournament, and bar any extracurricular plans, Salah will not be required to fly back out to the Ivory Coast. It will be a bitter blow for the forward, who despite claims to the contrary is fiercely committed to his country as the captain. But those at Liverpool will be quietly relishing the news that Salah can now return to domestic action as soon as he finds fitness, which of course is a huge boost for the football club. The official diagnosis of Salah's hamstring injury is that he would miss 3 to 4 weeks from the 2-2 draw with Ghana on January 18th. That would suggest his earliest return date would be February 8th, with a possible comeback against Burnley 2 days later. Perhaps more realistic would be a visit of Brentford in the Premier League on February 17th, though the situation hinges entirely on Salah's recovery. The 31-year-old is not rarely injured, but he is known as a fast healer, and there could be a chance he makes his return even sooner. That could of course lead to complications in how he is perceived in Egypt, which could also seen as PR nightmare. But crucially, Salah will almost certainly be back to full fitness in time for the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea on February 25th. Salah's form so far this season, of course, has been absolutely prolific, and Liverpool, of course, have managed without him and in his absence, of course, winning all of the games and progressing into another cup competition, getting to the final of the Carabao Cup. Obviously, bigger tests coming up over the next 2 Premier League games against Chelsea and Arsenal, but there is light at the end of the tunnel as Salah should be back sooner rather than later, which is very, very, very good to here. Now, in other news, guys, David Ornstein. I know it's been a very, very quiet transfer window for the Reds, and again, it's going to probably stay that way for much of the transfer window. Probably a few more players could go out on loan, but we're not expecting any sort of transfer activity towards the end of this January transfer window at all. However, David Ornstein up there probably with Fabrizio Romano, Paul Joyce with regards to reputable transfer sources, has came out and stated that Liverpool like Antonio Nusa, but can't do anything on it until there is clarity over their new manager and sporting director. Of course, a player currently plays for Club Bruges, so a player that the club are monitoring. That comes from David Ornstein, as I stated, a very, very reputable journalist, especially within the transfer space, and has been pretty much spot on with regards to anything with the Liverpool sphere when it comes to transfers. So again, a player linked, and as I stated, a player that the club very much like, but as stated by David Ornstein, can't move on it as we need clarity over a new manager and the sporting director. So it does make sense. Of course, there's no point making signings when the new manager hasn't really got a say. Of course, Jurgen Klopp would have the final says at this moment in time, but he has probably put his faith in towards the youth players. You can see with regards to the defensive positions, Kwanzaa getting a lot of games. Yesterday as well, more players making appearances against Norwich, which is really good to see and shows that the club have massive amounts of faith, and it shows Jurgen Klopp has a massive amount of faith in the youth products coming through at the academy at this moment in time. So yeah, very, very good to see on that front. David Ornstein providing a transfer update, but nothing can be done until the new manager and the new sporting director is in place. Next up for the Reds, of course, is at the end of this month, 31st of January, the last game, which of course will be transfer deadline day, and that is between Liverpool and Chelsea. Again, a really, really exciting fixture. Chelsea at this moment in time have had a weird old season, currently do sit ninth in the Premier League. However, you would say that they are starting to find bits of form, if you like. The last game did end in a 0-0 draw with Aston Villa. They did get through to the final of the EFL Cup after they beat Middlesbrough 6-1. Prior to that, they beat Fulham in the Premier League. That was their last Premier League match. However, have showed patchiness, losing to Middlesbrough away from home. Of course, then beating Luton, but then losing to Wolverhampton Wanderers, drawing to Newcastle, losing to Everton, losing to Manchester United. So there is very much a traffic light formation with regards to their form at this moment in time. But at Anfield, you have to fancy Liverpool, and especially with the momentum that's been built at the club over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, you would put Liverpool as the favourites going into this clash. And as I stated, at this time of the year, Manchester City are going to start purring. There is absolutely no doubt about that, especially with the arrivals of Kevin De Bruyne again. But Liverpool just need to be making sure that they win all of the games, and especially the matches at Anfield are going to be absolutely pivotal when it comes to the prizes being handed out come the end of May. But Liverpool fans, that's all I've really got for you today. Do let me know your thoughts with regards to the transfer news provided by David Ornstein. Let me know your thoughts as well with regards to the massive boost, the Mo Salah returning earlier than later, and let me know your thoughts with regards to the quadruple. Will we do it? Yes or no? Let me know down there in the comments. That brings us to the end of today's video. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.